Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Simon Townshend, and I'm going to speak probably for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, and then I'm going to hand over to my colleague, the other Simon, who's going to take you through well, I'll tell you what he's going to take you through in just a moment, but he's going to take you through the big discoveries that he has made and applies on a daily basis, which really form the story that I want to introduce to you now. So first of all, I just want to lay out the ground rules here and tell you what today is not going to be about. We're not going to be doing your typical trading webinar, which I know a lot of people see on a regular basis. We're not going to offer you something that's a miracle solution to making millions of dollars next week or anything like that. And there is no sales pitch in here. We've got nothing for you guys to buy. In fact, you know, what we're going to give you at the end is a series of free gifts. So I want to put everybody's mind at rest first of all about that. Let's tell you what today's session from us is going to be about. What we're going to show you is a relatively new way of trading, not just when markets are good, but when markets are also bad. And I think most people will be aware of the fact that for the majority of this year, this has been a very, very difficult year for most traders. And what you're going to see today is quite unique in that it works when the markets are crappy as well as when they're good. I would like to think that this will be at the start of an exciting and profitable adventure for you, and I'm going to give you just a straightforward, you know, honest account of the journey that I have been through in recent months, as have a number of other people and friends and colleagues of mine, and how we actually made an awful lot of money following this journey, again, without having a load of upfront costs, which is what you normally get, you know, at these trading webinars. So basically, what we are about is how to start earning money, and earning money every single day, or virtually every single day. And that means when the markets are good, when the markets are bad. That's what we're about. First of all, just quickly, who am I? You can probably tell from my accent that I'm English, although with a bit of a cold at the moment, so maybe I sound, I don't know, Australian or something else to you, but I'm based in England. My background is actually in engineering. In my years, I've been a consultant to some of the biggest companies in the world, working at board level, advising them on global business strategies. So I come to trading from a different background to a lot of people: engineering, business consultancy. But I have been trading a long time, a frighteningly long time actually. And over these years, I've invented my own technologies for trading the futures markets. That's not something that we're going to go into here today, but I'm basically saying that you know, I am self-taught. Like an awful lot of people that actually break through and make it in this business, you find that you have to find your own little niche, the thing that works for you, and that was certainly the case for me. In my trading career, I've traded fund money, I've traded private money. I basically today trade my own money, and I'm not interested in managing anybody else's money. You know, I'm kind of coming into sort of semi-retirement, and I'm doing my own thing in my trading. But I have been an educator for a long time of other traders, and I've written a lot of stuff and basically done a lot of presentations like this. In that time, talk about training, I've had the good fortune to work with some of the you know, the well-known and well-respected educators in the industry, and had, you know, enjoyed educating hundreds and hundreds of traders over the years. And today I'm here with this guy here who's on the left-hand side of the screen, my buddy Simon Jousef, and this was a picture of us in Toronto a few months ago. And so let me just tell you a little bit about Simon. Simon, interestingly, also comes from a scientific background. He is a physicist. He's also a registered CTA, and he is the developer, the architect of the strategy that you're going to see in just a moment. He's been trading a long time as well, and he's also, been educating traders. In fact, he's been educating traders for longer than I have, so he's got a lot of experience in doing this. And he's made this breakthrough where he can identify support and resistance in the market before anybody else can see it. Okay, and that's really what he's done here, is he's managed to develop a way of identifying where support and resistance are going to come in, which is not visible in a price chart, and that is just priceless information. And in the time that I've known Simon, which is basically, since the start of this year, I have found him to be a thoroughly nice guy and probably one of the most patient educators in the industry. And that helps, because when you're trying to learn something, this is not an easy career to master, and actually having someone that's got the patience to take you through it is quite unusual, but quite important too. Now, at the beginning of the year, Simon offered me something. He offered me proof that what he's going to introduce you to today actually works, and it works in real-time trading. Now, I got a phone call literally right at the beginning of the year, and he said, "Hey Simon, I want to show you something." Now, I get calls like this all of the time from all sorts of people, and normally I say, "Yeah, sorry, not interested. I've got it works for you, but I don't want to know." Simon was different because of the way that he introduced himself and what he was talking about, and above all, he said something that is exactly my way of doing business, which is, I will show you this in real time. Most people that say, I got this wonderful discovery, it's always, it's back tested this or data mined that, and we all know that that's utter nonsense. Simon said, hey, don't believe a word I said. Come join me, spend a few days with me. I will show you my discovery in real-time live trading. And that's exactly what I've always done over the years that I was educating people. I just gave them trades in real time and said, forget the history, it's moving forward, it's what matters. So I watched him, I took up his invitation, I watched him, I started copying him before I even knew what he was doing, because I could see as he was using this secret that he's developed, he was able to identify trade entries with like 5 or 10 ticks risk. And I come from a background where I don't mind risking 100, 200, 300 ticks. So to me, this was like, well, hey, I can just copy what this guy's doing and see if it makes money. And I literally made thousands and thousands of dollars without having a clue what he was doing. I just piggybacked on some of his trades, and I thought, okay, I'm kind of believing that this thing works, because I just saw it and it repeated day after day after day. So as a result of that, I said, okay, Simon, teach me. Just teach me how to do this, because I can see it works and I believe it, and particularly in a year when the markets are not working at all well, I want to understand it. So, and for someone who's kind of reaching the end of my career rather than the start of my career, you might think that's an unusual thing to do. Why would I want to go and learn something new? Well, above all, it interests me, and I've always had an open mind to things that are genuine and legitimate and hold water. But you can use this absolutely raw, out of the box, without doing anything else, to produce a weekly income from your trading when the times are bad, when the markets are bad, when the swings are small. And over and above that, you can say, well, I take the existing strategy that I've got, and I can use this to help me refine my own trade entries to get much lower risk on entry, to improve the performance metrics of my own trading. So there's a whole number of different reasons why I thought, well, this is a really, really good technique to learn. So ultimately, he taught me, we got closer, we became friends. I met him in Toronto. Simon lives, not outside of Toronto, a couple of hours away, and we became friends and started working together, and that's kind of how we are here today. And Simon runs the Trader Institute, and in a nutshell, my experience of what I witnessed was a fairly traditional type of trading room that Simon would run for 3 to 4 hours each day. But this was the thing. he would manage to get into trades with very, very small amounts of risk, just a few ticks of risk, on maybe a handful of trades a day. And it was a very, so even though you might say you're risking 5, 6, 8, 10 ticks on a trade, you'd think that might be quite quite difficult trading. It's actually very relaxed trading. It's just that he's very, very patient and waits for everything to come to him. The market's got to do what he expects it to do before he will do anything. So it's actually, even though the execution is quite tight, it's quite a relaxing way to trade. Being a part of his group. And the thing is that he might take a handful of trades a day, and 1 or 2 of those trades would really make money. So he might be risking 5 or 10 ticks going in, and he would, amongst the trades he would take that day, 1 or 2 of them would make maybe 50 ticks, 100 ticks. So at the end of the day, you'd maybe a couple of small losers, a couple of scratch trades, and then boom, you get the winner. And the thing that amazed me was this just happened day after day after day. So it was a very, very low risk, low intensity way of trading, and if someone's interested in literally making money on a daily basis rather than an annual basis, then it was a really, really good way to learn to trade. Because I witnessed him during the time I was looking at it, and since, literally bank ticks pretty much every single day, even in this rubbish. In his trading room, he allows his students to practice what they're learning, as well as others like me, just to look in from the outside and get a feel for how he's trading and what he's doing. But he would encourage the students to practice, and he would even go on and run additional sessions sort of in the afternoon, so that those that are going up the learning curve can get to hone their skills. So in a nutshell, my experience of Simon and the service that he was running before we got together was that I earned money, and quite a lot of money, before I even got close to learning how to do it myself. So it's an unusual and a different way around, because normally in this industry, people come to you and say, you want to make money, you've got to learn something. Well, yes, you have got to learn something, because you've got to be independent, you've got to be able to do it yourself. But you don't have to wait until you've mastered something to really start earning money on a really, really regular basis if you've got the right person holding your hand. And at which point I'm gonna just sort of close down my introduction here and hand you over to the man himself, and he will take you through his discovery that he's found in the use of volume profile, and then after he's given you that main part of the lesson, he'll hand back to me, and then I'm going to talk to you about the gifts we've got for you, and a few other things about membership and how I became a member, and what we've got on offer here. So lots of free stuff at the end, and hopefully somebody will now take over here and give Simon control. So there we go. I think it's all happening.
Good afternoon, everyone. Audio, video, we're good?
Yeah, we're good.
Very good, thank you. Thanks, Simon, for the quick introduction. I noticed you were talking a little bit faster than normal, I think because of the time. We started late. However, this is not what you see on your screen. This is not what we do. This is how everything started, using the tape years ago. At this point, the way I do the market, analyze the market, and find my trades is through the volume profile on the right-hand side. As you see, the volume profile will read the or this is the heat map of the amount of bars inside this chart. So if I reduce the amount of the bars, see the volume profile will be reduced with it. So if I want to read basically one move, one wave, I will get this much volume profile associated with it, and that will give me the direction on a immediate or short term. The more charts or the more bars I bring in, the more volume profile I see, and that will help me see the longer term. This is how it started, though. Long time ago, years ago, I tried to learn the tape or the bid and ask ladder. I wanted to learn how it works because typical methods never worked. The indicators, as the previous presenter talked about, don't work, especially most of the indicators being lagging indicators. So I wanted to understand what is the secret behind these numbers on the bid and ask ladder. And I was successful. I spent months and months and months understanding this, learning this, and it was part of my teaching back in 2004, 5, and 6, a method that I called ACE strategy. That was the method's name. It was not the business's name. Started with Futures FX Canada, and then the method name was ACE, anticipate, confirm, execute, ACE strategy. So we would look for a trade, and then we would look at the numbers on the tape. This is a 15-minute chart, for example, bars for the crude. And I'll give you an example. You'll see numbers here, descending numbers, ascending numbers. It's a complicated thing, but we worked hard in understanding it. And through this, I discovered many things, such as the price magnet, such as the capping of the tape, the opening, unfinished business, etc. However, with time, I realized even this was not good enough for me to confirm my trades. The idea behind trading for me is, if I have a trade, for example, if I'm looking for a long, let me change the color of this pen so I could. If I'm looking for a long, for example, here, and the market is coming to it, this area is my entry, and let's say it's an indicator. How would I confirm that this is the proper entry, not here or not here? I did my best to confirm with the tape. It was better than your typical confirmation, but it was still not good. Why? Because looking at one bar, for example, here, we're looking at 15-minute bar. For example, this one is a 15-minute bar on the crude. These numbers would mean nothing to me if I'm looking at just one bar. Here's why: because the volume associated with it is only this much. Look at the volume associated with it. This is the volume that is reading, that has been read inside within this only 15-minute. This is not enough volume for me to base my trades upon. It doesn't work. It's fragile. It's not stable. So the more I bring in, the more bars I bring in, the more volume I see, the more stable it is. So this is when I decided, you know what, let me switch completely from the tape or bid and ask ladder into volume profile, and that was many years ago. Since then, all I do is I work with volume profile and I improve upon that. Best example I give you when we trade is this. Let's assume that you're trading let's assume you're using Fibonacci levels, and you have the market maybe coming down, and you decided to take a short trade. Now, some of you will say, my best trade will be from 50% retracement. Some of you would say, no, 50% is not good. I like 62%. Some of you would say, no, I like small retracement, 38%. Now, usually, you pick 50%, the market would come here, maybe bounce. Next time you pick 38%. This next time market will come to 50%, takes your stop, and you decide to take another trade here, then stops you out, and then bounce from here. It doesn't work. Same scenario. I'll give you the same scenario, but let me show you what we do in our scenario. The volume profile, when the market moved here, in this case on the crude up or down, whatever, it created volume profile clusters right on this, and it's visible right on the side of the chart. For example, here, this is a 987 tick chart on the crude, And I just brought the crude up because it's easy, simple, and it's one of the main ones. One of the charts that we trade. We trade even gold, Nasdaq. We trade grains. Sometimes we get into metals. It depends on what's ripe to trade. So we're going back to this. When the market moved, it created clusters of volume profile, and these clusters would look like this. This is a cluster, and this was a cluster of continuation. We call this continuation. I'll put a C here to tell you this is a continuation cluster. And then we had another cluster created. It was created before that, and it was here. This was another continuation cluster. Might be a different continuation, but it is a continuation cluster. So now the market comes down, continues down, and at the end of this cluster, right, you see, right here, you see this is a continuation. In between, you have rejection. At the end of the continuation, you have a rejection. Market doesn't like to leave these continuation areas. This is where the most tradings happen. I mean, you might think it's high-level volume. No, it's not. There's a science behind it. There's a specific teaching, and I've been working on it for many years, and it's not as simple as you think it is. But once you learn it, it becomes very simple because it takes some practice to learn it, but it's very visual. So here, instead of me waiting for the market to retrace, I do have a long here. So I would execute a long, or I would say careful. The market is still bullish. Okay, don't go short at this time. Now, focus on this. If I don't take this trade long, I have a reason. Although I see a rejection in the volume at the bottom of the volume profile here, but I don't see a stop loss. For me, knowing where my stop loss is key. So I would probably not take this trade long. I would maybe, notify my members, telling them, careful, we might have, the market is still bullish. You don't have to go short now. Wait for it. And we do that actually on Slack. I'll show you why. I'll show you how. Today, on NASDAQ at 9, this is Slack that, all the students receive this on their mobile. Besides the room, this is an extra. If you see here, at 9:40 a.m., I said NASDAQ remains bullish. 59.84 is possible to reach. Please remember this. NASDAQ at 9:40 a.m., NASDAQ remains bullish. 59.84 is possible to reach. Got it? We got that? So that was 9:40 a.m. And this is here. This is here at the bottom. This is 9:40 a.m. So the market, actually NASDAQ collapsed very hard, very fast. And at 9:40, look at the bottom of the screen. I don't know if you folks see it or not. The bottom of the screen says 9:40 a.m. And at 9:40 a.m. today, this is time stamped. I cannot make this up. I said it's still bullish. 59.84 is possible. See what happened after? I did not take the trade because I didn't have a stop loss to take it. But look what happened. What did I say? 59.84, right? Where it is? Look where it touched. That was 9. Look. That's it. 84 to the tick. So being precise is key to my teaching. Sometimes I would choose to trade within maybe 15 tick stop, depending on the trend or on the move that I'm trying to catch. Swing trades. Sometimes I would choose to trade within 5 ticks, depending on what is my gain behind, because I already know where my entry is and where is my target. Another example I'll tell you. My first trade, I said CL possible long. Let me bring you the CL charts, please. Give me a second. Where's my Slack window? I said CL possible long around 48.30. Okay, that was at 9 o'clock, something like that. But at 9:03 exactly, I said CL long 48.26 or better. Pay attention, please. I'm not, this is time stamped. I cannot make this up. CL long at 9:03 a.m. Eastern, 48.26 or better, stop 48.20. So I'm looking at an entry between 26 and 20, and my stop loss is 20. So 6 ticks span only. Okay, and I was looking only for 5 ticks first target. Why? Because I'm trading 3 contracts. I want to get 5 ticks out of the way with first 2, so I'm making 10 ticks. This was a scalp to start with. Okay, as a scalp, I'll answer that question, Jürgen. This is a scalp to start with. Why do I scalp? Because the condition of the market forced me to scalp my first target of 2 contracts. So 5 ticks on 2 contracts, that's 10 ticks. So I got my 10 ticks, and then I secured my stop. And I said, stop loss moved to 48.25 after. So it was, to me, it was a break even, moved it. But then I said, CL resistance at 48.50 area if you want to close it. And then I close it later on anyway. But look what happened. Look, this is the chart. And this is exactly 9:02, 9:03 a.m. Here, you see the bottom of the chart. This is today's chart. Watch. Watch this. First target off. Okay. And then 50, I exited at 50. I said exit at 50. It did go. Some students left it because they saw, here, this was my exit. See how 50 brought it down? And then it stayed here for a while, and then it broke it afterwards. Okay? So this volume profile, well, what moves the market, Jürgen? The volume moves the market. Everything is in the volume. Indicators do not move the market. It's buyers and sellers, correct? How many buyers versus how many sellers? Indicators do not move the market. Indicators will give you an idea of what happened in the past, but the main thing that moves the market is the volume. Furthermore, is the value within that volume. You have different clusters of volume, but where is the value? What the market wants to reach, and how many times market has reached that specific value. So all these are defined in a very structured members area. We have a very specific members area. If I can show you an example, members area, and it's part of our, I think Simon Townshend will explain what we offer, what we do. We offer trials. We don't sell anybody anything without they come and try it and then say and choose to follow. But Simon will explain that. But for example, here's an example of how the crude profile would look like if I look at, let's say, a daily chart. Okay, daily chart will give me different things that would mean something. Each level would mean something. The red, the green, the size of it, the way it's shaped, everything means something. And if all these are explained in details. Now, if I explain one thing within 10 minutes, it will not be enough for you to use it, because I cannot explain it unless you get into it and understand it. There is a few things that I can tell you. For example, if you trade, anybody here trades volume profile? Yes, okay, Will does. So one of the things, do you trade market profile or volume profile? There's a difference. Market profile is the comprehensive, boring, the numbers, I don't even get into it. But if you trade, I'll give you an example. If you trade a volume profile and you choose to trade short from here, because this is the edge of, let's say, we call it the knife. or specific cluster, you gotta exit at the other end of the same cluster, especially if it's a second or first or second touch. Why? Because whatever made it bounce, the identical copy of it at the other end will make it stop. Okay? So that this is part of the teaching that will happen. And if you look at my members area, we have look at the levels that we have. It starts from level 1, and then you have level 2. Level 3 is advanced. It's very, very advanced. I have hours of videos and examples, and we have also daily trading in the room. So we trade, we answer questions, and we have trials as well. I like trading futures because it's more organized, it's more controlled. I also do futures, forex in the futures market. Let's say 6C. I'm watching 6C, which is the Canadian dollar. I'm expecting it to bounce back down. Other than that, without volume profile, if you take volume profile from myself and my members, they will not be able to function, because now all of a sudden everything will become random, and we don't like randomness. Today I had let me show you if I have if I can see YM. Look at I took YM long twice before it broke down long, and all these trades on YM, twice I took them and I exited within few ticks profit. I said exit, I don't like the stop, and it gave me a couple of ticks profit and I got out. But I don't like to wish or to hope. As soon as I see the market not going or the volume is changing, I exit. There's no it doesn't matter how much you learn, how much you know. If you don't follow the logic and keep emotional about it, nobody will succeed. And this is why a lot of students, they are professionals in trading volume. They learn from me, and they are very good at it, but they enjoy being in the room because I am very logical when it comes to trading. If I see the market that, if I see my stop loss is not reasonable, or the market has a chance to move against me, I exit. Even though I might be a 2 ticks loss or a break even, I don't wait and hope. I also can show you sometimes, if you will join me. I hope you folks join us in the trials. I do have a percentage. You can with this you will learn the percentage of the success of the trade. Sometimes it's very high, sometimes it's very low, sometimes it's 50-50. So I choose. I don't trade a lot, so I choose only ones that are very, very highly possible. For example, today I took 5-6 trades. All of them won, and they're all here in the on Slack. Some of them won a few ticks, some of them won. For example, my CL runner was 35 ticks only. I had no choice. There was a resistance against me. I had to exit. Should I kept it, would have probably made another 20 ticks. But it was a nice. I think altogether 70 ticks. And I just came back from my summer vacation, and as soon as I landed, the next day I called a trade on NASDAQ, and that was a 90 ticks move, a one swing trade. It was here, Friday, here. This was on Friday. So long, if you see it Friday, 59.76 or better, long at 10:05 a.m. If you can match it on your chart, you will see. And whatever indicators or system you're using could work nicely, or you could see the benefits of it if you apply volume profile. For example, if you have a system that gives you 5-6 levels, you don't know which one is better than other, or sometimes these levels don't work. With volume profile, if you line them up with the volume profile, you would know which one would work. For example, I have an indicator. I'll give you this indicator, and let's call it, this is the RL, dynamic reversal level indicator, okay? my dynamic reversal level indicator is one of the very, very strong indicators. It combines 5 or 6 different volume-based reversal indicators, okay? And it's all designed, it's very complicated, but it's designed to plot on your charts with one click, like these lines here. See, this is dynamic reversal indicator. But do you think I will honor all these lines? No, I will only honor the lines that will fall under the rejection level within volume profile. And the same goes with if you're using your own indicators. Some of the lines will be honored, some of the lines will not be honored. Same as the same way I explained Fibonacci levels. Once you put it against volume profile, you would know. And with that, I'll keep it short because we were behind or we're late. So I'll give it back to Simon if he wants to continue. Hopefully we'll see you in our trials as of next week. And I'm okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you. Yeah, we're trying to pedal as fast as we can here, so that we try and keep to our time slot. But when I started, I said that I'd like this to be very much a journey for you, because I think Simon has probably given you just a very, very brief glimpse of what we do. And what I really wanted to do was to give you real immersion in what we do, which to do that in 45 minutes would be a real challenge, because this deserves an awful lot more than 35 minutes. So what we've done is put together for you a whole bunch of stuff for you to study. So first thing we've got is, if you can see on the screen here, we've put together a whole series of videos, and these videos contain lessons, webinars, more information on the indicators that we use, about trading psychology, seeing us trading live, all sorts of tips and tricks. And we want to give this to you, those who are interested in taking this to the next stage and learning more about it. We'll also give you our daily recaps. You know, some days Simon does a quick sort of 5-minute video recap of the day to show you where the trades were and how we took them. So we're going to give you all of that stuff. That's the first thing. And to get hold of that, really what I'm going to give you a link in a minute that's just going to take you to a very simple page where you can register to receive all of these videos. It's a very standard sort of form just to fill in name and email address, and then we will start firing these out to you on a daily basis, so that you've got a new lesson each day to study, along with the results from the day, so you can see them yourself. Just to be clear, when you do fill in your name and email address on that form, there will be a confirmation email, because you know, we're not getting involved in sending emails to people to spammy addresses or things like that. So we always insist on a confirmation email. So if that ends up in your junk mail or whatever, you know, do go look for it, find that link, and hit the confirmation, because otherwise you won't get the videos sent to you. So we want to do everything by the book here and make sure everything works perfectly. So that's what we'll send you. The minute you click the confirmation, it'll take you instantly to video number 1, which happens to be called TTI Sample Trades, and that'll be the first video. Now, the second thing we've got for you, because I said, you know, we wanted this to be a journey, an experience, and a process for you to absorb what we do and to benefit from it. We're going to give you free access to Simon's Trade Room that I just described to you earlier for the next 4 weeks. We have 2 days each week where we welcome members to come and see what we do, try it, get a feel for it, etc. And so for the next 4 weeks, we're going to give you each Tuesday and each Wednesday free access to Simon's Room. Now, typically what you're going to see is Simon Fine you know, 4 or 5 trades maybe, of which would be a couple of small wins, maybe a couple of small losers or scratches, and then 1 or 2 that actually make money. And typically what you will see is something like 80 ticks per day of profit, pretty consistently day in, day out, with the trades that he finds using the process that you're going to start learning from the videos. So it's quite possible that in the next 4 weeks, over those 8 days when you've got access to the room, it's quite possible that you will have access to trades that could make several $1,000s. I'll tell you, when I did this at the beginning of the year, I made $15,000 during that trial period, and that's you know, that's just straight up. That's without even having a clue what I was doing. And just so that you know, just to confirm those dates, it will start next week, Tuesday and Wednesday each week for the following 4 weeks. Come and look and get yourself immersed in what we do. No cost, just come and just get started. Basically, give you an idea. This is futures only. This doesn't even include the forex trades, but throughout this year, probably the most difficult year I've seen in the last decade, these are the number of ticks that Simon's trades that he's called live in the room have produced, you know, year to date. And as you can see, there are losing days, but the losing days you don't exactly lose a huge amount, but there aren't that many of them. Most of the days there he comes away with some profit, and you can see, you know, year to date is over 7,000 ticks of profit banked with those trades, which is you know, pretty remarkable to do when it's done on a consistent basis. So and all of these, you know, all of these trades are logged. They are, you know, they're published. There's no smoke and mirrors here. You can see that they're time-stamped on Slack as well, because when he finds them in the room, he adds them to the Slack service, so you can look back and have them time-stamped. And you know, if you're away for a day and you can't be there for the live trading, you can still get them in real time by having the you know, the Slack messenger on your phone or on your iPad or laptop, whatever. So the question is, what should you do with this access to the room? Well, the first thing I'd suggest is, for the first 1 or 2 days, just watch, get a feel for it, understand what Simon's doing, understand how he lines trades up, see how tight the stops are, see how he manages the trade. Just genuinely get a feel for what's going on. And then if you like it, and you know, you don't mind risking a little bit of money, and you want to have a go, just like I did, you might want to start dipping a toe in the water by copying some of the trades. That's entirely up to you. I'm not going to recommend that. I'm just telling you what I did, and you know, and how it paid out. Or you can simply just observe for the whole period, in which case you will learn an awful lot, and you will come away, you know, with your eyes spinning actually at what you will have witnessed during that period of time. But the opportunity will be there to make an awful lot of money, again, without having spent a penny to get started with this. How do you get access to the room? Well, remember that first, you know, after you've registered for the video series, we take you to video number 1. Well, underneath video number 1, there will be a link. And that will be the link that will take you to the GoToWebinar registration pages for each of those days of the trial. It will basically take you to a page here, and you click on September trials, and it will take you to a standard GoToWebinar registration page where you can set yourself up. Now, just be clear, when you get to this page, it says Tuesday the 12th of September, which is the first of the days that we're inviting you to join us. That is a drop-down menu. Don't think that's just one day. When you actually put your cursor in that box, you will find the rest of the trial days throughout the month of September drop down as well, because you'll need to go back and register the following day for the 13th, for example, and then the following week. But you basically go to the same page and just use that drop drop-down menu, because Simon's Room is broadcasting GoToWebinar. It works perfectly. You don't need any standalone software, anything like that. It's very simple. If you're here on the webinar today, you can be in the trade room just as simply, you know, when he starts next Tuesday. So that's the second thing that we've lined up for you. You've got the video series, you've got 4 weeks access to the 2 days a week trial of the actual room. The other thing we mentioned, that there is a Slack service. Simon showed you the timestamped Slack service that we've got. If you're not familiar with Slack, it's a simple messaging app that's available, you know, for every type of device, every machine, every phone, etc. And we're going to give you access to that, actually literally from now through until the 4th of October. And on that you will see a record of the trade room trades, as you saw Simon showing you earlier. You'll see any out-of-hours trades, because, you know, if Simon catches a runner, he's going to say, well, you know, listen, I'm sitting on this for a bit because, you know, we've got 30 ticks, I think it will go to 80 ticks. And so maybe outside of the trading room later in the day, he'll send an alert out to say, right, I'm closing it now, and that will come through Slack. Because obviously the trade room is run for a limited number of hours each day, and also the Forex trades will come out directly on the Slack feed as well. So our sort of third freebie for you today is to use that service literally from the moment you register for the video series. Everything happens from there, and you will have access to register on the Slack feed as well. As I say, it's 24 hours a day. Just about every device you can think of, it will work on, and you see everything to do with every trade: the entry, the exit, the trade management, and various notes and comments in between. So Slack's a really, really great messaging service that I think most people are familiar with now. I've been using it myself for years, and it's been fantastic. And it's a really, really good platform. How do you get hold of Slack? Well, remember that, you know, you got to video number 1, and underneath video number 1 you got the link to get hold of the access to the trade room. We'll scroll down, and underneath that you'll find another link, which will be a great long horrible garbage looking thing that you just click on that, and I've blanked a bit out there simply because that is not the live link. It varies from month to month, but you will find that link on the page. Just click on that, and you will immediately get yourself set up for the Slack service too. So that's completely free. To get all of this started, guys, all you need to do is go to this shortened URL, and I'll put this up in a minute if we, you know, because I've got something else to, for the sake of 2 or 3 minutes to show you, but I'll put this up again. But here's a short link that gets you to register for all 3 of those free gifts. It's on to url.co/VS, which VS is for video series. So if you use that link, that will allow you to register for all 3 of those freebies. I'll put that up again in a minute if you didn't get it down, but I know we're short of time, so I just want to spend 2 minutes going through what services the Trader Institute offers, so that you know that what's available, you know, further down the road, if you like what you see. There are 3 main services available from TTI. Full premium membership, which is basically access to everything, all of Simon's teachings, also the indicators that he uses that are bespoke indicators, 12 months use of the trade room, the Slack feed, the whole shooting match for 12 months. It's quite expensive because it's literally hand-holding for 4 hours a day for a year, but it's only expensive if you haven't made that sort of money in trading. Remember what I told you, when I first took the trial of this thing, I made $15,000 during those trial days. It gives you an idea of the power of this thing. After 12 months, if somebody wants to continue with the trade room, they'll be flying solo way quicker than that. But there are people that want to continue using the trade room. The price comes down substantially for second and subsequent years, and it continues to provide continued use of the indicators, etc. So the third thing that's available that we do actually have some people that move on to using is just the Slack feed itself. All of the trades being called and shown through that Slack feed app that you've seen, and that's at a very low price indeed for those that actually don't want to partake in the trade room, which is fine, you know, horses for courses. You can purchase these things at any time. And that's not what I'm going to suggest you do here today, because I said we're not going to sell you anything. We're going to give you all those three free gifts. So I just alert you to the fact that you can buy those at any point in time. However, what we want you guys to be able to do is, if you want to continue with this further down the road, we want to make this really easy on your cash flow. So what I'm going to suggest you do is what I did. First of all, register for those free gifts, get the use of the room, get the use of the trade alerts, basically get the use, understand what TTI offers, understand how Simon does his analysis, understand the whole thing and start making money with it. Use that room for those 8 days, and use the Slack feed. And remember, if you're making about 80 ticks a day, which is what you'll have, typically on average you'll have access to make, you can quite easily make a few $1,000s just during those few days over the next 4 weeks, if that's what you choose to do. And I actually do recommend, when you're comfortable doing it, make some cash first, because why not? Hey, most traders have found this year is actually about feeding money into the system rather than taking it out. So a bit of light relief here. Let's just pull a few grand out and start to put right what's wrong about this year. Once you get to the end of your trial period, aside from any money you may or may not have decided to make, you will know one of two things. This isn't the style of trading you like, which is unlikely because you'll see the money that it makes. More likely you'll say, I actually want to go ahead, but hey, do I really want to pay 10 grand or $9,900 to take part? No. What we do is say, you've made a little bit of money, you're comfortable, you want to go ahead, we'll cut it into chunks for you. So for you guys, don't for goodness sake go and buy it on the website, because you'll pay a single lump sum. For you guys here, if you want to go ahead after this trial period, we'll cut it into 4 pieces to make it really, really, really easy on your pocket. Spread the load, and that's the easy way that you can earn your way to this full premium membership, really without having to use money out of your pocket, because you get it for free to start with. Make some money with that, then take some stage payments in 4 pieces, so that you can basically pay for it out of the success you have. And that's what I did. That's what I've recommended many people this year do. That's what I would recommend you guys do. And the one other thing that you should be aware of is this. If you say, well, okay, I can afford to join, I'm doing quite well, but I've only got a small account, how do I really up the game and make real money with this? The answer is, we can help you increase your pace of progress by using other people's money. So once you've completed your education, which you can do in 2 or 3 weeks if you really dedicate yourself to doing this, you can leverage your skills, and by the fact, if you don't have a large account and you can't trade, 5, 10, 15 contracts or whatever, but you can actually do this, right? We can give you access to people that will provide you with money. You can trade anywhere from a 25k to a 250k account of other people's money, where you can keep up to 80% of the profit. So if you've only got limited resources now to invest in your education, and you think that means you won't have enough to trade with, don't worry about that. The key here is getting the education, getting good, and then these firms are the places that we can direct you to, who will allow you to prove that you can do it over a matter of literally just 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, and boom, they will then fund an account for you. If you obey their rules, they will provide you the capital that you need, and you get to keep anywhere from half to 80% of the profit you make with other people's money. So that's a great way of leveraging the skills that you've invested time and money in developing. But forget about that, that's all for later. First thing you got to do is put this to your test yourself. See what I saw at the beginning of this year and then prove it to yourself. And that's not going to cost you anything other than a bit of time watching the videos, attending the room, looking at the Slack feed, and actually finding, hey, this really does work. So all you got to do to get started, guys, is use that link. I put it on the screen again. You'll get the free video series there. You'll get the access codes to the room for the free trial, and you get the access link to set yourself up for the Slack feed. And apologize, I've run over by just a few minutes, but we're at the end, and I hope you've enjoyed today, and hope you will be joining us, you know, for real next Tuesday. Thank you very much indeed.